we also have a standards of cover report that indicates that we need at least 62 new fire stations in the city of Los Angeles just to serve us on an average day. We have fire stations all over the city of Los Angeles that need millions of dollars in basic repairs, leaky roofs, and HVAC systems. I think what the chief is speaking to is the decades of chronic underinvestment that our department has been subjected to. And it is incumbent on all of us leaders here in Los Angeles to heed this wake-up call and to right the ship and ensure that we are spending taxpayer money on critical infrastructure and public safety. We've seen decades of neglect in those areas on full display over the last few days here in Los Angeles.
You know, the people in the Palisades needed to hear that 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You know, not 3 or 4 days after the fact, which is maddening for so many people.
It is, and I hear the frustration loud and clear. In many ways, it's what led me to run for office in the first place, and it has been the driving force of my policy goals since I have taken office. I was literally just at Fire Commission at the end of December talking about the operational impacts of budget cuts on our department and how untenable this is. But I also want to be very clear. This isn't just one budget cycle. Mm-hmm. This isn't about a response to one particular budget crisis in 1 year. This is decades of mismanagement on full display tonight in Los Angeles.
Nonetheless, I mean, I know that the time frame that you're trying to throw it, you know, decades back, but should anyone resign because of this response?
What I am focused on right now is getting this fire out and my community here on the West Side rebuilt. I have thousands of constituents who have lost their homes, who have lost everything, who don't know what the future holds, who aren't sure where they're going to sleep tonight. This isn't okay.
No.
So I'm not sure that anybody needs to resign. What we need to do is get this fire out and come up with a plan that prevents something like this from ever happening again.
You know, and of all the things we've heard over the last several days, and there's been a lot of finger pointing, to a degree, this is a failure of imagination. An imagination that something like this could happen, and it could happen so quickly and with such force. Because if it had been imagined and it had been, you know, prepared for properly, I'm not saying it would have stopped this, but it very well could have minimized it to some degree.
I think this was imaginable. The Pacific Palisades is no stranger to wildfire issues. It's in a very high fire severity zone. We already know that when there's a wildfire in the area, we lose our communication systems. We already know that we have bottlenecks and choke points along our evacuation
So where's the
routes.
disconnect? If we know this, then where's the disconnect? There's a lot of smart people in a lot of rooms putting these scenarios out there for the people to make decisions. Where's the disconnect between the imagination that this could happen and the results of what we're seeing here?
It's the lack of investment and the lack of making public safety the top priority in Los Angeles.
Thank you.
I mean, that's very frustrating, I think, for many people to hear, especially those thousands of people who have lost their homes and the
Every
thousands
word
more
she
that are
says.
evacuating now in fear of losing their homes, you know? And I think that people want to know who is responsible.
And residents have every right to be angry and frustrated by this. Constituents have been asking for years for additional support and resources. I have been lobbying for additional support and resources. These concerns are not theoretical. And yes, this was an unusual event in terms of the intensity of the fire and the winds. Mm-hmm. But how many more Paradises? How many more Woolseys? How many more Pacific Palisades until elected leadership in Los Angeles and California and beyond recognize that these threats are real, and we have got to align our investments of public spending with our our fundamental obligation to keep people safe.
And
And we simply haven't done that
Yeah.
for decades here
And
in
it's,
Los
and
Angeles.
it's the conversation that needs to be front and center going forward. Tracy Park, thank you so much for your time. They're difficult conversations, but they're critically important as we see tonight.
Yeah. All right. We